Hej, hallå, I'm Kråkan, also known as Corvus Cornix, and welcome to Closet Movie Rambles, where I talk about all the movies that I found in my closet while cleaning. This week's movie is Toy Story, and it's about 1 hour and 17 minutes long. And the movie starts with Andy playing with his favorite toy, a cowboy doll named Woody. And then there's this song that plays, it's called You Got a Friend in Me, which is more or less the theme of the movie of Toy Story. And it's Andy's birthday, and as he leaves his room, all the toys come alive and they have a meeting. So Woody calls this meeting where they talk about the move, because there's a big thing with toys and everything and moving to a new house. And also it's Andy's birthday, because Andy wants to have his birthday before he moves, so he, with friends and everything, kind of logical. So what Woody does is he sends down these plastic toy soldiers down to spy on the kids to get information on the toys that Andy's getting. And of course Andy gets a new toy and it's placed on the bed. And it's this new toy, it's like a space ranger, I think they call it, called Buzz Lightyear. And Andy's not happy, or Andy I should say, Woody's not happy about being replaced by this new favorite toy of Andy's. So as the toy watch out the window, they see the neighbor's kid, Sid, and he had strapped like a firework or like a cracker on the back of one of the plastic soldiers. And it explodes and they can't do much about it. So Woody hatches a plan to get rid of Buzz Lightyear, and he does so by getting me flinged out the window, and the toys obviously doesn't like this. But Andy enters the room and they have to play like dead, I guess, or like in stasis. So Woody gets picked up by Andy. They go to a place called Pizza Planet, which is this like arcade place. And Buzz is obviously following them and gets into the car, and Woody and Buzz gets into a fight, and they manage to fall out of the car. And somehow Woody managed to talk Buzz into like taking it's like a pizza delivery car to Pizza Planet. They manage to get there and sneak in, and they end up in like a claw machine where with these alien kind of squeaky toys, which is kind of a funny scene. And they end up getting picked up by Sid, because of course Sid is there, and they get taken to Sid's house where he's supposed to like torture and break them. He's a mean kid basically. So Buzz and Woody meets up with Sid's modified toys, and it's kind of those horror experiments where you just take one head from some like doll and something and put it on another toy, which is kind of creepy, but they turn out to be very nice. And then sometime later they try to escape, and Buzz managed to see it's a toy commercial for himself basically about Buzz Lightyear, and he realized that he is a toy. And up to this point he didn't realize that he was a toy. He actually believed that he was a space ranger. So that's one of the points why Woody didn't like him, because he was delusional, being not realizing he was a toy. But he tries to make like a flight run and through out the window, and then he falls to the ground and he basically loses one of his arms in the fall. So now in his broken state, Buzz Lightyear gets picked up by Sid's sister Hannah, and he gets dressed up and invited to a tea party. So when Woody enters the room, Buzz Lightyear breaks down, basically has a mental breakdown, and sometime later his arm actually gets attached to his shoulder again, and there's like a commotion between what's happening and whatnot. But at the end of the thing, Sid wants to blow up Buzz Lightyear, send him to the moon basically by putting a rocket with like duct tape on his back. But he can't do it because it's like it starts to rain. So the next morning he's supposed to do it when it's like better weather and whatnot. And during the night, Buzz Lightyear and Woody actually talks, and they kind of have this nice warming talk to one another. And the next morning they're supposed to blow up Buzz Lightyear, and they go outside, and while this is happening, Woody has talked to the other toys, Sid's toys, and they actually pull a prank on him and actually scares him for life, because they actually break the rules of not being lying dormant as toys and actually speak up and do something about it. So this sends Sid running back into the house, and while this is happening, Buzz and Woody are supposed to catch up with the moving truck and Andy, because they're moving now. So Buzz gets like left behind, and there's this thing where Woody actually managed to get on the like the moving truck, and he digs out this RC car, like a radio control car. That's what RC stand for, I realized just now. But yeah, he drives to pick up like Buzz, and there's like a commotion because the toys they don't understand that they're actually, at this point they think that he actually murdered Buzz because he used his like arm to like fool them into like throwing over like this Christmas lighting to pull him over to Andy's house. And before this scene, I forgot about that. But anyway, they get chased by Sid's dog on this RC car, and they are supposed to catch up with this moving truck. But of course, the batteries on the RC runs out, and he gets stopped in the middle of the road. Then they realize that Buzz has the rocket still strapped to his back, so Woody actually tries to light it with a match, but it gets blown up by a car. And then he actually realized, because Sid, in an earlier scene, Sid actually tortured Woody with like a magnifying glass and burned his forehead. So he realized he can actually focus the light on the fuse, and he actually managed to light the rocket. So they do like a thing where they fly over the moving truck, and they drop the RC car into the back, and they drop into the seat where Andy is. So everything turns out fine. And this is one of the scenes where Woody actually made fun out of Buzz before, because he couldn't fly because, well, he's a toy, but actually it's not, like flying, he is like falling with style, actually glides down into the rooftop of the car. So this leads into like the Christmas in this new place where the families move into. So they do the same procedure as the birthday party. They have the plastic soldiers downstairs with their walkie-talkies and talking about what they're getting for Christmas and whatnot, and so there won't be any nasty surprises. So Woody says this line like, "What can Andy get that's worse than you than Buzz?" Because now they're like friends and whatnot. And you hear over the intercom like, "Wow, Mom, I can't believe you got me a puppy." And it's like cutting to both of them like smiling like nervously. And that's the end of the movie. So what do I think about this movie, Toy Story? Well, it's a good movie. The only thing I can complain about is that everything looks plasticky. I mean, toys are supposed to be made out of plastic, but everything in this movie looks plasticky. And I can't really condemn the movie because it was released in 1995, yeah? So it's like, bushes and trees and people, they all look kind of plasticky. And I know it's like it's a limitation of the times and whatnot, but it's not a bad movie. So if it's on TV, go watch it. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for listening and watching, and take care.